Hey guys, I want to talk about grief for a minute. I've been trying to do this for a few days, but my phones are all fucked up. But anyways, so I have found the best grief therapy out there. And I know that a lot of people are in the midst of awakening, or they're woke, or they're start beginning their journey. This time in history is significant. It's the Great Awakening. And so before Colette died, for those of you who don't know me, I have buried 3 children, and my last one was just this last January 2023. My oldest, my best friend, she was 27 years old, and she died from fentanyl poisoning. There's a lot of generational trauma in our family. And, this having lost 2 children before Colette, I didn't think. Sometimes I still think I can't make it, but I'm going to. But what I have found is that a book, 2 books that are not made for grieving or for mental health, have changed my whole perspective on both. The Project 369, The Key to the Universe. If I had the money, I would buy one for everyone on here. It teaches you the key to the universe. It teaches you these things. So I was in the middle of reading that when Colette died, and it's an interactive book, and I finished it. And then my mom bought me a book called Spirited, and it is about the author is very intuitive, and she's a psychic, and she's legit. Like, she gets literal messages and signs from spirits. And so those 2 books combined gave me my answer to grief and to my mental health, and really to everything. It's like Project 369 is like my Bible. It helped me so much with my borderline. And what that book and the book Spirited combined did for me was teach me a lot about who we are, what we are, and grief. And so before we're born, and those of you who are in the middle of awakening or are already woke know this, but before we're born, we have these soul contracts, and we sign them with the people in our inner circle. So, like, my closest family, my parents, my kids, my best friend, my partner, that's my inner circle. And then there's an outer circle, which might be like work acquaintances, or friends that aren't constantly in your life, or just that type of relationship. And then there's an outer circle, which is like people that you might see once in your lifetime, but they're there for a reason, significant or not. All of those people signed contracts with me. I signed them with them to have these experiences in this life that we're living right now, in this lifetime. Me as Missy, Colette as Colette, Elisa as Elisa, everybody is everybody. So, in thinking in it that way, and when I read that book, Project 369, I took it as truth. It was the first thing that I've ever heard or read that filled that human void that we're all born with. That human void of who are we? What the fuck are we doing here? Where did we come from? How did we get here? All the things. I was raised religious, Christian, all the things, and nothing ever resonated with me. This book gave me truth, and it gave me light, and it made me understand my purpose for sharing my book that I've been trying to write, all the things. It gave me all that, but most importantly, it made me understand something. It doesn't make it any easier that Colette's gone, like in this physical realm, but my mind, it makes it easier on my mind. We signed this contract. Colette signed her contract to have the experience that she had. I signed my contract to be her mother, knowing that she would die. And when we're born, we know all these things, and then when we turn around 5-6 years old, we forget because we become conditioned, from our parents, from church, from school, from all the things, and we become a human. We become conditioned. And so we don't know that we've signed these contracts until we start meditating and dig deep down and get our chakras unblocked and all the things that I've been working so hard on. So knowing that Colette and I signed this contract, knowing that I signed a contract to lose 3 children, and knowing that she signed a contract to have the experience that she had, it helps me. It helps me because it's what we decided beforehand. For whatever reason, for whatever I was in my previous life, I needed to experience extreme pain and loss. And for whatever reason, she needed to experience what she experienced. And I can't think of anything that could help more with grief. Just understanding that this is what we literally signed up for. Literally signed up for these experiences. So we all have a life purpose in each lifetime. And I have been so driven to write this book, my Felonies and Poppy Seeds book about Poppy's death and Ozzy's death and my abuse and all the things. And the reason I think I couldn't finish it is because it wasn't done. Because Colette hadn't died yet. And that sounds terrible. But if you look at it in the way of that's what she chose to experience in this lifetime, as a mother, it takes a little tiny bit of weight and fear and pain away. Not much, but a little bit. Because I needed this experience. She needed her experience. Jill needs hers. All of us, my partner, he was there. His wife, my friend who passed away, she was there. We all signed this together, agreeing to be what we are to each other. Me, Colette's mom, her, my daughter, Brandon, my partner, all of these things. And Jill had told me about this contract before I knew any of this stuff. I've told you she was 2 or 3, and she told me that she met with Poppy, her sister, who she never met, who had died, 7, 8 years before Jill was even conceived. She told me when she was 2 or 3 that she and Poppy planned on Jill getting into my tummy so that I wouldn't be alone. So my 7-year-old taught me about these soul contracts when she was 2 or 3 years old. And I can't make that not be real. It is real. To hear those things from a toddler, she taught me so much more than just that. But when I learned about these soul contracts and remembered that Jill had said that, that's what we're here for, is to fulfill our purposes and to get through these life lessons that we set up for ourselves. So I set up these tests for myself in this life. You set up your own, you all set up your own contracts with the people around you. Some lives we suffer greatly. Some lives we're on top of the world. Some lives were, sometimes I think I was fucking Hitler to sign up to bury 3 children, But it doesn't matter because it's indifferent. Because in the whole scheme of things, the grand scheme of things, the source and us as an extension of the source, there's no bad or good. There's just plain and simple experiences. So whether I was Hitler, whether I was a horrible fucking person who needed to experience the other side of pain, it is what it is. Because I was freaking out last night to my partner going, what the fuck would I sign a contract to go through this much fucking pain? And he said, because you haven't experienced it yet. Because all your other experiences have not been this. And we do things until we've experienced, as many points of view as we can. And then when we get to the end and we're done reincarnating, we go back to being the source. And then I'll know Colette again. I'll know her in a different way, but I'll know her whole story because I'll know everything. So research soul contracts. They're real, and It's the best grief therapy out there. I hope you have a good day. Good fucking day. And don't forget to smile beautiful.